yet another episode of Corporate Talk 360. My name is Rachel Otin, and I am so excited to be creating this content for you this day. So, wow, I've lost track on the number of episodes that we are in. That shows how much you have missed out on this platform. So, try your very best to catch up with me. Try, please. This is a continuous engagement. So please try as much as possible to catch up with content in this episode. So, welcome if you are a new subscriber, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. You are a very important person in this particular platform. So, great, let's delve deep into this particular episode. In this episode, we are going to talk about your first day at a new workplace. Of course, this is us assuming that you went through the interviews that we had spoken about in the interview video and you excelled through your interview thanks to this channel. That's me blowing my trumpet. And then now you are being onboarded into this corporate. So, how should you carry out yourself when you're getting into this new workplace? So, I have a few pointers for you, and I hope that these pointers will be of great value when you're navigating your day one at your place of work. So, the very first one is prepare your elevator pitch. And an elevator pitch is basically a 5 to 10-second introduction on how you want the conversation to flow. So, an elevator pitch can have an introduction, years of experience, the position you're getting into this company, the background you're coming into, your goals. It has so many things. And for you as a person, you can decide how your elevator pitch should move. It mustn't have all this information. But as the conversation goes on, then you know how you will package each and everything in your elevator pitch. So I will give you an example of myself. I I have a really short elevator pitch. Mine is usually, my name is Rachel Otin, and I am so excited to be coming into this company. I am coming in as an associate, or I am coming in as a manager in communications and marketing. You get? How about you? And the other person will come in and say, also there are bits of the elevator pitch, of course copying your flow. Because most of the time people are not always prepared to give that elevator pitch, but it is so good to always have it in mind, so the person will bring in a similar thing to what you've said, and then you can come in with that question: how long have you worked for this company, or how long have you been in practice in accounting? And this person will tell you, oh, I have worked in this company for this long, I have an experience of this much. You can respond to this person saying that I have been in this field of practice, or rather I have an experience of say 5 years or 8 years, and you keep the conversation going. And you will notice by the end of this particular engagement, then you will have touched on the first part of your elevator pitch, and you have proceeded with the other bits when it comes to background, goals, and engagement. Okay, so be keen to ask this question. It is very important to ask this question, because if you do not ask this question, you are going to find yourself in a position where you have crickets. You'll find yourself in a position where there is silence that you cannot fathom. Okay, yeah. So moving forward, ask questions. Questions asked when you are new are seen to be more genuine. They will be truthfully answered, because they will feel like, or rather, the people you are asking these questions will feel like you are asking so that you can know. But let me tell you, if you come and ask questions 6 months later, then the first thing you'll be asked is, what do you know? So, one thing I usually advise people is, when you're getting into this new place of work, have pre thought questions that you really want to know about the organization that you are coming into. So, I will give you an example. You may want to know how the organogram of the organization looks like. You may want to know the leadership system. You may want to know, how does this organization treat its staff, you get. You may want to know, um, what are the disciplinary channels, what may cause a termination, you get. You may want to know, if are there team buildings, are there bonuses at the end of the year, do you do salary reviews yearly and things like that. You need to have bits and pieces of knowledge of such things, because most often than not, no one speaks about them, no one tells you about anything. So I remember, and this is a question that I know I will carry forward all through where I go. In the corporate I work in, we get medical cover. So I know this is a non negotiable for me when I'm transitioning from this particular corporate to another. One thing I know for sure is that I will always ask if a corporate is giving their staff a medical cover, because health is a non negotiable for me. So if there is no health or insurance cover, I'd rather stay where I am. You get. And there are some people who would say, because you might find a corporate is giving you an insurance cover that only covers you, who's the staff, but doesn't care about your family. So that can also be a question you ask. Because most often than not, you cannot be the only person who's covered and your children are suffering, or rather, your spouse is suffering, you get. So some of these non-negotiables, you must always have them in mind and know the questions that you want to ask a corporate when you're getting into it. Because again, questions asked when you're new will be truthfully answered, but those that are asked after you have stayed in the organization, you'll be asked, what do you know already? Okay? So you'd rather be safe than sorry. Great. So moving on, number three, speak less and listen more. Just be a little mysterious, even if you're not. This will help you understand the environment you are getting into. So I will give you an example. Most of the corporates that I have heard of, and one that I am in already, when you are a new individual coming into an organization, then there's usually an induction process that is done. For me, I was privileged to have a 3 day induction period. So during this period, the human resource department has created a schedule for you who is coming in. And in this schedule, then there is the bit where you're meeting different departmental heads and different executives in the organization who will speak to you and who will tell you about what to expect when you come into this organization. So for me, I was coming in as an associate in communications and branding, and this is an audit firm. So of course, I got an induction from the audit manager, the tax manager, the legal senior. Um, I got an induction from IT, legal and compliance, I think. I got another one from finance, another one from the human resource department. I got so much information that was fed to me. Let me tell you, there was also welfare in it, staff welfare. So, what are some of the things that I should know as a contributor to the staff welfare? And then also, wow, I got one from the fire marshals, and which other one is this? The safety and health, I think safety and health something committee. So I got so much information that was fed to me. You get, I also got the opportunity to have an induction with the managing partner of my organization, and that's the senior most person. For some companies, the CEO. Imagine meeting a CEO of a company who is also feeding into you. So I promise you, during this time, then you get so much information given to you. So what I usually advise people is, you're getting so many people feeding into you, and the thing is, you need this information to push you for the first 6 months of the first 6 months that you're in this organization. Why is this so? Because it is an introduction to what you need to know about an organization. So I usually advise people, have a pen and a notebook, so that you can jot down anything that is shared to you. You get, so that when a time comes, you'd be like, um who can I reach out to in tax to guide me? Of course, you had the breakdowns of the tax manager who spoke to you. Or I would like something to do with legal. Because, of course, as you work, then you will find how these departments interconnect. And if your department, like for mine, I cannot like run away from any of these departments, because for my department it is too bulky. I really need all these departmental heads to help me in most of my duties. Then you need to know who to reach out to, because they were your first contact when you're getting into that corporate. So now let me tie that information to speaking less and listening more. You know, when you speak less, and just like they always say, you have one mouth and two ears. That's where the difference comes in. Because the ear is for hearing, the mouth is for speaking. So speak only when necessary. I know by the time you're watching this video, you have already watched the episode on be seen, be felt, be heard. In that particular episode, we crunched down information on when is the best time for me to speak. Speak when you're asking a question. Speak when you want some clarity concerning a matter and things like that. But during this time, get to understand the system, get to see who calls the shots in this organization. Of course, you will not know it at the beginning, but slowly by slowly, as you listen to people, then you get to know how the organization or how the system works. So speak less and listen more. Number four, show interest. Show interest. How do you show interest when you're engaging with someone in the very first time? Of course, the very first one is what we have spoken about in the elevator pitch. Engage that person. Ask them how about them, okay? And then there's the bit of, as someone gets out a pointer to you, you'd be like, I was also thinking of something similar. Say that only if you are thinking of something similar. But there's the bit of, uh, I'd really want us to engage in this conversation later. I'd really wish to meet you along the corridors and have further conversation on this. How I wish that we can have some time to delve deeper in this information. Can we set aside time and continue with this conversation? You know, when you speak in such a manner, then it shows that clearly you're interested with this organization and you have its best interest at heart. You get. So the more you speak it out, the more you voice it, then the more you show that you are interested in the activities of this organization. Um, Lastly, and I really love this pointer. I don't know why it's the last one in my in my list, but like we always say, save the last for the best. So under promise and overperform. Don't blow your trumpet too soon. Let me tell you, most often than not, you may not know how the organization operates or how the systems work. Let me give you an example. I remember when I was applying for the job that I'm currently working, I looked at the requirements or the JD, and I was like, wow, these things, even when I close my eyes, when they tell me, do branding for us, I will do. When they tell me, do customer relations for us, I can do. Do social media, I can do. Plan an event, I am good at that. But shock on me, the first 3 months of me engaging in my role, I was so troubled. Why? Because I had a lot of learning and unlearning to do. This is because what served me in my previous corporate isn't what serves me in my current corporate. So there are a lot of systems, a lot of things to know, and this crunching down was very important for me. And I remember it got to a point I was like, now, what exactly did I subscribe for? But it is until I understood that this is how the system works, then that's when it served me. I remember the first training I organized because one of my duties and responsibilities at my place of work is to organize trainings or events. And of course, this is me shamelessly plugging. If you're in finance, if you're in accounting, in any organization, please comment that down below. You're my client. I need you. I need you at my place of work. But that's besides the point. So I remember the first training that I planned. I I did not get so many participants. I actually got only 5 participants coming into this training, and this was my um, pilot engagement. This is what was gonna show that clearly I can do this job or not. And I remember I was so scared. I thought that I would lose my job at the time. But the problem was I did not understand the system. But slowly by slowly, because I remember 2 months after that, I was supposed to plan an event, and that event had a turnout of 83 people. I was so excited. I was like, now I've got my hands on my job. You get? So you need to really understand the system first before you start promising highly. So you can imagine if I overpromised at the beginning, what would be the situation for me? I would already be put. They would have put me on a PIP. I think by the time um, that first training was done. You get? So it is very, very important that you let your work speak for you, especially when it is your first time getting into this corporate. So as you continue engaging, then slowly by slowly you can now start blowing your trumpet only when you have understood the system. So I am so, let me tell you, this is Rachel from the future. In the future, I can see we have already reached 1,000 subscribers. I can see, like literally, I can see. But we are not there because you have not yet subscribed. You're consuming this content and you haven't subscribed, or you've subscribed and you haven't shared, or you've shared but you haven't liked. So, how do you want YouTube to interpret content from this platform? Huh? Please.